sky within your eyes. There's such a fool's heart beating so fast in search of new dreams. A love that will last within your heart. I'll place the moon within your heart. As the pain sweeps through, makes no sense for you. Every thrill has gone, wasn't too much fun at all. But I'll be there for you as the world falls down. We're falling. Falling down. Falling down. I'll paint you mornings of gold. I'll spin you Valentine evenings, though we're strangers till now. We're choosing the path between the stars. I'll lay my love between the stars. As the pain sweeps through, makes no sense for you. Every thrill has gone, wasn't too much fun at all. But I'll be there for you as the world falls down. We're falling. We're falling. Falling. As the world falls down. We're falling. Falling, falling, falling in love as the world falls down. Falling, 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 falling in love. As the world falls down. Makes no sense at all. As the world falls down, falling, falling, falling in love. As the world falls down, falling, falling in love. Hi everyone, it's Cheyenne. So that was As the World Falls Down by David Bowie. It was featured in the movie Labyrinth, or The Labyrinth, which is one of my all-time favorite movies. Actually, I think all of my all-time favorite movies have something to do with music. It's kind of funny. Okay. So one of the reasons I did this song is because recently, actually just this past Sunday, David Bowie died at 69 after battling cancer. And I never, at least not since I was really little, I never really listened to too many of his other songs other than the ones from the Labyrinth. However, I do remember listening to a few, and he was probably one of my favorite singers as well. I really liked him as the Goblin King in the Labyrinth. Like, if you were to ask my family or anyone who knew me when I was a little kid, the Labyrinth was the shit. Like, that was one of my favorite movies. I watched a DVD that we had literally so often that it's all scratched up and it doesn't quite play right. And I still like watching that movie now. I mean, even though I watched it so much when I was a kid, I still love to watch it now. And, it's just, most of it was because of the music that was in it. I really loved the music. And there were 2 other songs by David Bowie in this movie that, actually there were plenty of other songs by David Bowie in the movie. I think there were at least 4 or 5, if I remember correctly. I haven't watched the movie in a while. I was thinking about watching it. But, As the World Falls Down is definitely one of my favorites, along with the last song in the movie that he actually sings, and I can't remember what it's called, but the whole reason I didn't do that one is because I'd been sitting there for like a whole minute afterwards, because the song has lyrics, but then the end part of the song is just music, and actually I can remember the exact lyric. Well, I don't know, I might have forgotten some of the beginning lyrics, but it's, how you turn my world, you precious thing. You starve and near exhaust me. Everything I've done for you. I move the stars for no one. You've run so long, you've run so far. Your eyes can be so cruel, just as I can be so cruel. Live without your sunset, love without your heartbeat. I can't live within you. And that's pretty much the lyrics to that song. And I mean, it's a great song. I love that one. But it's just, I didn't want to have to, I felt like it might have been awkward if I just sat here for like the whole minute afterwards, like, yeah, this is not awkward at all. But I might do that one anyways, just because that was one of my favorites. And then the other one that I remember as one of my favorites was of course Dance Magic Dance, because if you have watched the movie, that song is just so much fun. I definitely love the intro to it. Anyone who's watched the movie knows the intro to the song, and if you just walk into a room and start it, people who have watched the movie and liked it tend to typically actually go along with it. So it's just like, you remind me of the babe. What babe? The babe with the power. What power? Power of voodoo. Who do you do? Do what? Remind me of the babe. And it's like, everyone's laughing as, quiet, I was talking to the babe. And then he expects them to laugh. And this is another really sad death, because, I mean, I was really upset when Robin Williams died. And now David Bowie's gone. And it's just like all of my favorite actors are dying, and it really, really, really sucks, because, I mean, they are some of the coolest people, and I never got to meet them, and I would have loved to meet them. Anyways, it was also requested of me to do a David Bowie song because he died by one of my friends. So that's another reason why I did it. And, if you guys haven't seen The Labyrinth, or you guys haven't heard a David Bowie song, which I don't know if that's possible, but I guess someone somewhere in the world has not heard a David Bowie song. I bet someone somewhere in the world did not know who David Bowie was. Just like there are people who didn't know who Paul McCartney was. Like, dude, come on. I digress. I definitely suggest going to listen to one of his songs, or watch The Labyrinth, or I think he was just in a Broadway play too. So, but yeah, I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, that stuff. And if you didn't, please make sure to comment and tell me why so that I can get better. I know I seemed a little bit unsure at the end of that. Like, I was just looking around like, makes no sense at all. And that's because I feel awkward when I have to sit there too often. I feel awkward when I have to repeat parts too often. But I absolutely love that song. It's not that I think that that's a bad song. It's just that, I don't know. I'm weird. I felt weird. I'm weird. And I'm tired, so that could be a reason too. I am extremely frustrated because I love my classes that aren't online so far. I haven't taken my chemistry class, so I can't say I love it yet, but I think I'll like it because I like chemistry a lot. I had to start learning chemistry in 7th grade. We started with balancing equations and all that stuff. And at first, I hated it. Like, I hated balancing equations, and I hated all the other stuff that we had to do just because I didn't understand it. Because my teacher didn't explain it as well as he could have, and he didn't explain it in a way that everyone could understand it, because I didn't whatsoever. But before my dad went and remajored in medicine, he was a major in chemistry, and so he actually helped me learn how to balance equations. And once I figured it out, I actually had it in my head of how to do it, and really it's a process of trial and error, and you just want to literally balance the equation. But the teacher didn't explain it like that. I can't remember exactly how he explained it, but I remember that he made it sound so complicated that I didn't even want to understand it. But, yeah, once I started getting all that stuff down and everything, I fell in love with chemistry, and I had to take it again in high school. We had to take a chemistry class, and I was the person that everyone went to when they couldn't understand something. Oh my goodness. I had to help people balance equations, which I had no problem with. I love helping people. It's just there were so many, like, I wasn't the only person people went to, though. I think there's one other person in there who people went to if they didn't understand what I could say. But, that was actually really fun. Like, that made me feel really smart. To have people actually want my help always makes me feel good about myself. And, I don't know why. It's always been helping people just makes me happy, along with singing. That's why I like to sing and help people as much as I can. So, yeah. You guys got to learn stuff about me. The reason that I'm frustrated is because of my sociology class, which is online. You see, we're supposed to use Blackboard for online classes. That's what I knew of. That's what I had known. That's what I'd figured and everything, and it's what people talked about, like other students. But my sociology teacher is actually using this other website that costs us money, and I don't have money to pay for my classes right now. Like, all the money I have, I'm trying to save up because I want to take a trip after this year, and I need money for that, and I don't have a job right now, so, my mom had to help me pay for it because I didn't know if I'd be able to take the other class that I wanted to take and drop that class. I need sociology anyways because I have to take 2 social sciences for my major. I know, fine arts, you have to take 2 social sciences, which kind of makes sense because you have to understand people. But it was frustrating because I shouldn't have had to pay for the class. I'm at my school on scholarship, but because my teacher was using a different website, and it's pretty much this website where all his assignments that he has for us, those are already up. Those are already there. All I have to do is do them, and then the system automatically grades them, and all he has to do is go put up the grades on Blackboard. Which, yes, that makes it easier for both of us just because now I can just go in there and do most of my assignments ahead of time. I could take the time to read out all the chapters that I need to read and do every single assignment in there before everything ends and just be done with it. I'm not going to, but I'm tempted to do all the ones that I have to do in the allotted time for the first due date for everything, but I don't know yet. I might do that. I got time. I will be at school for most of the day tomorrow because I will be waking up at 4:30 with my dad, and then I'll be getting to school at 7:30 because it takes 2 hours to get there, and then I don't even have class until 11 tomorrow, so I will be at my school all day, I'll probably bring my computer with me just so I'll have something to do in the morning. I'll either bring my computer or I'll bring my books because I have, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So my bookshelves are getting full. And for those of you who don't know, I am a big, big book fan. I love reading. And I have a whole list of books that I have to read just because I haven't had the time to read them, but I've been getting more and more books. But don't get me wrong, I'm probably not going to stop getting books. I've tried to stop myself from getting books because I need to read the ones that I already have. And I just can't do it because every time I see a good-looking book, I just want to get it and read it. And I think it's an addiction. I honestly do. And there's this quote that I saw, and it was like, I'm not addicted to reading. I can stop right after this chapter. And it's so true. It's just like, for those of you who like books, I think you guys might understand. Once you really get into reading, it's like you're in this whole different world and you can create things, It's so much different from watching a movie or watching a show. Yes, watching a movie, watching a show, you get to see the experience and everything. But reading a book, you are in the experience. Like, if you have the right imagination, you are right there in that experience and you put yourself into that character's shoes. And it's so amazing because you can create your own world. Like, you don't have to see the picture that someone else wanted you to see. And typically, when it comes to what people read and what they see when they're reading something, not everyone sees exactly the same thing. And that's what's really cool about reading a book and not watching, like, the movie for it or the show for it. Yes, watching the movies and shows, that's exciting, that's cool, but it can also be disappointing because, I can tell you with the Vampire Diaries, which I read before that came out on movie, I loved the whole Vampire Diaries series when I was a kid. I read them all within 2 weeks. No, I read the first one within 2 weeks. This was back when my reading was kind of slow, and those are pretty thick books though, so I loved those books. Reading them, I was absolutely in love with those books. I was happy reading them and everything. And then the show came out, and I was really excited because I heard about the show, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, they're going to make a show for this, and it's going to be so cool. And then I watched the first episode, and first things first, Elena was not a brunette. Elena's blonde in the show. Or in the movie. In the book, Elena's blonde. It's not at all how I pictured Stefan. That's pretty much how I picture Damien. Damien's not as nice in the first book as they make him in the beginning of the show. He's a lot more rude. Caroline, oh my god. You want to, kill Caroline in the book. You don't want to have her turn into a vampire. And if I remember correctly, she doesn't turn into a vampire in the book. Spoilers, sorry. But, there's all this stuff that gets changed sometimes, and I think I heard in the Harry Potter movies they did alright, but there were still a lot of things changed. And I understand that some things have to be taken out so that the movie can fit, or the movie or the show can fit into a lot of time. What I like about shows, though, is you can actually fit a lot more of everything into the show because you can just cut it up between episodes. However, with a movie, I can understand it a little bit more. But it can always be disappointing because especially if you read a book first and then you go and you watch the movie or something, and the character's not exactly what you're expecting. There was a book that I read called Vampire Academy. Yes, I know, so many vampire books. I am a fiction person. I love fictional books. So you will see me reading a lot of vampire books. You will see me reading a lot of time travel books. I'm actually reading a book about time travel right now. It's called Ruby Red. It's the Emerald series, I think. Oh no, Emerald Green is the last book. But it's really cool, and it was actually written originally in German. It was translated to English. But I like that one so far. And I read all of the Percy Jackson and the Olympian books. I'm going to reread those though because I can't remember exactly everything that happened in them. And I've read the Mortal Instruments books. You will probably not often see me reading a non-fiction book because I can't often get into those. There are a few non-fiction books that I read when I was a kid, and those were those ones about the princesses, real-life princesses and all that stuff. And that's where I learned that Bloody Mary was actually Mary, Queen of Scots, who was related to Elizabeth I, and all this other stuff. And she was nicknamed Bloody Mary because of how many people she killed because they weren't Catholic. So it's very interesting to learn the history of things. And I actually think there was this Asian princess or something who was lesbian, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. I read those in elementary school, so you're going to have to excuse me for not quite remembering which one was which. I can remember Mary Queen of Scots because I've read more up on her as I've gotten older and such, and I had to learn about her in some of my old classes. Anyways, I'm going to shut up now so that you guys can go. So I love you guys so much. Stay you. Believe in yourselves because you guys are amazing. And I really mean that. Don't forget to dance today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.